2021 meeting of the City of Raleigh Appearance Commission. My name is Candace Andre, and I am the Vice Chair of the Commission. The Raleigh Appearance Commission is a public body appointed by the City Council that exercises both advisory and quasi-judicial functions. The Appearance Commission's responsibilities relate to zoning and other land use matters, as well as visual quality and aesthetic characteristics of the city. The first two items on today's agenda are requests for design alternates from the city's Unified Development Ordinance. When hearing requests for design alternates, the Appearance Commission sits as a quasi-judicial body and conducts a quasi-judicial evidentiary hearing on the request. The process for hearing quasi-judicial requests is governed by state law and the city's UDO. The first evidentiary hearing is Design Alternate DA-4-2021, located at 901 St. Albans Drive, and the property owner is the Reserve at North Hills, LLC. This evidentiary hearing was continued from the April 1st, 2021 and May 5th, 2021 Commission meeting to today's meeting. The applicant's attorney informed staff ahead of today's meeting that the applicant would like to continue this hearing on the matter to the next Appearance Commission quasi-judicial meeting in July. The applicant's attorney is present today, and we will start by hearing from her regarding their continuance request. Jennifer?
Thank you. This is Jennifer Ashton from Longleaf Law Partners. I am here today on behalf of the applicant. We are still working through some design issues with city transportation and operations staff, and we are asking to continue this matter until your July meeting.
So Carter, we're good there, right? We don't need to motion or anything.
I can kind of take this one for you.
Okay.
You don't need to vote because there are times we need to vote on continuance, but since we're operating remotely under this special state statute allows us to do that. In the situation, you can just continue it. I would continue it though to a date certain so that you don't have to renotice the matter. So I think that you could just state that it's being continued to the July 1st, 2021 Appearance Commission meeting. Is that correct, Carter?
Yes, July 1st.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. So we'll be continuing this hearing to July 1st, 2021 Appearance Commission meeting. The second evidentiary hearing is Design Alternate DA-9-2021, located at 865 West Morgan Street, owned by Gary Hoover and MMP LLC. The applicant has withdrawn this design alternate request. We have only one administrative alternate case on the agenda, AAD-7-21. It is a continuation from the May 20th meeting. This AAD-7-21 is located at 416 Oberlin Road. And Carter, is Charles going to do the staff presentation on this one?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Candace.
Okay.
So thanks, Candace. This is the administrative alternate for design 721 416 Oberlin Road. I'm going to read the definition, intent, and one of the general requirements just to refresh everybody, and I'll read through a brief description and then take any questions for staff if you have them. Do want to, before I begin, just make clear that the applicant is requesting build-to alternates for both streets as well as the corner build-to requirement. So Bill 2 is defined as the area on the lot where a certain percentage of the front principal building facade must be located, measured as a minimum and maximum setback range from the edge of the proposed or existing right-of-way, whichever is greater. 2, the required percentage specifies the amount of the front building facade that must be located in the Bill 2, measured based on the width of the building divided by the width of the site or lot. The intent reads as follows. 1, the Bill 2 is intended to provide a range for building placement that strengthens the street edge along the right-of-way, establishing a sense of enclosure by providing spatial definition adjacent to the street. 2, the building edge can be supplemented by architectural elements and certain tree plantings aligned in a formal rhythm. The harmonious placement of buildings to establish the street edge is a principal means by which the character of an area or district is defined. 3, the Bill 2 range is established to accommodate some flexibility in specific site design while maintaining the established street edge. I'm going to read the first general requirement as this does apply to the site. On corner lots, a building facade must be placed within the Bill 2 for the first 30 feet. On corner lots, a building facade must be placed within the Bill 2 for the first 30 feet along the street extending from the block corner. So right now I will read a brief description of the proposal here. The applicant is proposing to develop a new bank branch building on Oberlin Road within the Village District. The parcel was most recently occupied by a McDonald's. The property is zoned commercial mixed use, 5 stories, urban general frontage. The urban general primary street Bill 2 is 0 to 20 feet, 70% of which must be occupied by building width. Both Oberlin Road and Cameron Street are designated as primary streets. The corner Bill 2 requirement that the building be placed in the first 30 feet of the Bill 2 from along the street extending in the block corner applies to the building. The building occupies the Bill 2 on Oberlin Road, but only covers 39% of the required length. The building does not occupy the Cameron Street Bill 2. As an alternate design, the applicant proposes open amended area along each block face at lengths sufficient to meet the coverage width requirement when combined with building length. Subsequent to your last meeting, the applicant did submit drawings to describe the proposed alternate design. You've got a plan, some elevations, and some renderings as well, and those are in the presentation material. If you have any questions for staff, I'd be happy to take them.
Any commissioners have questions for Charles? Okay. So now we'll hear from Michael Birch and the project team.
Yes, hello, it's Michael Birch with Longleaf Law Partners. Again, appreciate you all hearing from us so soon after we were here back in May. At that last meeting, I think we kind of talked through all of the findings, and then there was a request for some detail on our landscape plan, since that was not part of our submission in front of you. And so in advance of this meeting, we provided both kind of that detailed landscape plan, as well as the architectural elevations of the building, as well as some renderings. And so both myself, Diana Howell and Matt Gross with Kimley Horn are on with me as well, and can answer any questions that the commission may have. But we hope that kind of those detailed plans kind of met y'all's expectations from the last meeting.
Thanks, Michael. Any questions for the applicant? Charles, maybe do you mind showing the renderings too? Yeah, perfect. So I believe one question that we had a hard time answering last time was you know, if the landscaping was providing that edge that a building would provide within the build to, and it was hard for us to tell with the information provided. So they have provided a full landscape plan and renderings. If there's no questions for the applicant, we'll open it up to anyone from the public. Charles or Carter, is there anyone from the public?
There's not.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, maybe we'll table it and have the commission talk amongst themselves on thoughts with the new information provided. So any initial thoughts on this? I know we were concerned about, you know, types of species, size, height. So I'd love to get some input on thoughts. The other thing it was a little bit hard to tell on the last plans was kind of the access into the site. So I think they've done a good job showing that pedestrian access piece into the site. Thoughts on the planting plan?
Yes, that's me. Yeah, it looks good. Appreciate the detail and ability to see what's going on there. I think it meets the intent of the alternate.
I agree. I appreciate the extra information that they provided, and I also agree that, you know, I think one of the things we are required to look for is that plantings suffer in a formal rhythm, and, you know, I think it's nicely laid out, nicely done, so it's met the intent as well.
Any other thoughts before we go through the findings?
I think I'd just add that I agree with both Adam and Corey's comments, and the only thing I would add is that you can't really tell from that site plan, but I think that landscape plan really works within the context of the surrounding areas. And so I think this amenity space and the landscaping actually benefits the project more than having more building frontage. So.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, let's go through the findings. So I think we all agreed that the approved alternate meets the intent of the build to regulations. We'll come back to conforming with the comp plan, but the approved alternate does not substantially negatively alter the character defining street wall or establish a build-to pattern that is not harmonious with the existing built context. The change in percentage of building that occupies the build-to area or increased setback does not negatively impact pedestrian access, comfort, or safety. And the site area that would have otherwise been occupied by buildings is converted to an outdoor amenity area. From the comprehensive plan guidance, does anyone want to weigh in on some of the policies that show that we meet the comprehensive plan?
I think UD 5.1 and UD 4.5.
LU 7.4 and LU 5.1.
Great. So do I have a motion to approve?
Is Corey on motion to approve?
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. So do we need to do like the hand raise? I'm sorry, I know I should know this by now, but okay.
And Candace, this is Carter. I just want to make sure that I think the applicant wanted to make sure that we're talking about the three components of the request being the Bill 2 on both of the streets, each one of them, as well as the corner Bill 2 issue. All three of those are taken into account with this Bill 2 request.
Yes, unless anyone from the commission disagrees. That is the way I'm reading this. Okay,
That was correct as part of my motion, yes.
perfect, thank you. So all in favor? Okay. Looks like everyone, sorry, my computer's a little slow getting through everybody's video.
There's Patrice.
Okay, so that's great. So that one is approved. So I do just want to say thank you to the applicants for coming back and providing that information. I think it was, much easier for us to feel really good about our decision here today. So that ends the business portion of the meeting, and we will continue with the working group report and other business. Carter?
Thank you, Candace. The first one we want to talk about is the Legacy Project, and I think most of or all of you are familiar with it. Past couple of years, we've had some partnership opportunities with the commission to use some of the funds that we've had to do some public art. First year, we did a few benches along the Greenway near the Nature Center. So we've been looking for some opportunities, and I think we had a few folks looking at kind of like a subcommittee looking at this, but we were approached by the Downtown Raleigh Alliance about an opportunity for partnership. And I think in the context of both looking for something for this fiscal year that ends June 30th, as well as next year, where we probably will have a little more flexibility with funding. But so we wanted to bring this forward to you all. David Moore with the Downtown Raleigh Alliance is here to give a presentation and talk about that, about some of the things they're working on with the Black Main Street program in downtown. So unless you have any questions of me, I want to hand over to David to walk through the presentation, and I think he can handle the question and answers.
Excellent. Thank you, Carter. Can everyone hear me? Great.
Yes.
Cool. Well, my name is David Moore, and I am with Downtown Raleigh Alliance. With DRA, I serve as the Placemaking and Activations Manager. I've been in Raleigh for about 2 years, and one of the first things I wanted to work on when I got to town was how can we better acknowledge and celebrate Black Main Street. For those who may not be fully aware about Black Main Street, it was this 2-block area that developed in the 1910s to 1920s that had a large congregation of Black-owned businesses, both pushed there by segregation, also pulled to that area by other Black-owned businesses because it just became the epicenter of Black life in Raleigh at the time. So I'm really excited to talk to you all about this project today. Go ahead and hit the next slide, Carter. All right, so our project goals include celebrating Raleigh's Black Main Street, reclaiming space for the Black community and with them, elevating how public history is shared, creating and building economic opportunities for Black-owned businesses, such as a tourism group, perhaps, and then attracting new visitors to downtown Raleigh. As Carter said, we've came up with kind of 2 proposals, one being fast and then the other being more of a long-term 9-month project. But with that, we'd be probably partnering with the African American Cultural Festival, Black on Black, which is a local arts nonprofit. Last year, we created a Black Main Street Steering Committee for the purpose of finding new ways to support Black-owned businesses. Again, doing some placekeeping projects in the area, as well as what new events can be hosted downtown to attract the Black community back to this area. And we also work with City of Raleigh Museum closely, Office of Raleigh Arts, as well as Visit Raleigh. Next slide. Again, so this is first and foremost a placekeeping project. So it's not necessarily about preserving the buildings. Of course, we want that to continue, and a lot of that work has already been done. But it's also about keeping the cultural memories alive. And so, again, we came up with 2 different proposals on how do we bring those memories back and keep people talking about them. Next slide. So this is our first proposal. Again, this is something that could be completed by September, and the components include self-guided tours, a mural, and artistic programming. Downtown Raleigh Alliance, we've actually worked on 2 self-guided walking tours. One highlights Black Main Street and the other highlights historic Black churches in downtown Raleigh. And so those tours will actually launch in 2 weeks. And we're really excited. We've been doing this research for about 1.5 years, and again, working with City of Raleigh to get a lot of this information out there to the public. Next slide, please. So yeah, we have the self-guided tour ready to go. You can kind of see the template of this. If you're familiar with Downtown Raleigh Alliance, last year we launched a public art map, and it'll be kind of similar to this. And so we're really excited to launch that. And this would be the first step, again, at getting Black Main Street back in people's minds and talking about it. Next slide. I love public art. That is one of the main roles that I handle at Downtown Raleigh Alliance. And if you move around downtown, we do not have any large-scale murals depicting the African-American experience or dedicated to them. We do have a mix of sidewalk murals, but I really think it's time to elevate that. You can see in the bottom left corner, this mural in Charlotte highlights 8 of North Carolina's best Black musicians and artists. And so I think it's time that we do something similar to this for Black Main Street. And again, I really wanted to go about doing a mural for this, faster proposal because it can be quickly done, and also it's highly impactful. Next slide. We've identified 2 potential mural sites, the first being M&F Bank. M&F Bank actually, their branch in Raleigh was set up in 1923 in the same location that they are currently at. The building has seen some modifications, but it's still it's the only operating business that was once on Black Main Street. So we identified that as a potential location. The second is Go Raleigh Bus Station. The entrance of the station actually is where the Lightner Arcade once sat, and that was at one time the crown jewel of Black Main Street because it housed a number of businesses, attracted people downtown for dances and other social events. And so right now, those are the 2 potential mural sites that are standing out to us the most. Next site. And once we get this project done, if approved, we'd love to complement it with some artistic programming and really, make Black Main Street alive on East Target Street. So we could definitely set up some buskers or live performances along East Target Street, as well as Moore Square. And then we also have the capability of doing some kind of projection art. In the bottom right, the African American Cultural Festival did this projection art last year to kick off their festival. And then the top right image is from this past December, when we worked with a local artist during our Illuminate project. So we definitely have the capability of getting something done quick that's highly impactful and celebrates the African American experience in downtown Raleigh, and finding those Black artists to make it happen. Next slide, please. Our second proposal, again, is more of a 9-month project. The components include heavy community engagement, a public art and history installation, and again, artistic programming. Really the reason why it requires more time to get this one done, and if it's considered for the next fiscal year, that's great as well, is that we want to make sure we're not just doing this project for the Black community. We want to make sure that they feel engaged, involved from conception. So I envision creating these community engagement pop-ups that features live performances as a way to engage the Black community and talk to them about, okay, what does this project look like? Who should be included in terms of the content? You know, what other businesses can we highlight? Share your memories that, you know, your grandmother or grandfather shared with you about Black Main Street, and how do we keep it alive? And so then at the end of the year, we look to finding a local artist or North Carolina artist to create some type of art installation for us and get it installed by March of next year. Next slide. So a couple ideas include digital art or photography. It's definitely a great way to get memory out, share memories, and also, you know, put people from Black Main Street back into this space. Next slide. Another idea is a sculpture. In this past year, we've seen a number of projects from Black artists that celebrate the cities that they are in, especially Atlantis Rising, which was created in Atlanta, Georgia, and it deals with or celebrates the creativity that is the Black population in Atlanta, as well as All Power to All People by Hank Willis Thomas. And so, again, these are just ideas on potential projects that we could do, but there's a lot of strong examples out there. Next slide, please. Another idea we had is word art, which can be a lot of fun. One idea is to hire a local poet and then maybe work with a local a local neon studio to create some type of signage like you see on the left, or something that could be maybe freestanding on Black Main Street that people walk under, and as you go, you see these words. And then there's also this case with the city billboard in Greensboro, North Carolina, that's a monthly revolving exhibit and allows local artists to contribute and determine what that next saying is. So it could be a lot of fun and a way to engage the community and allow them to participate. Next slide, please. I wanted to put this map together just to kind of give you an idea of existing and future Black history sites in downtown Raleigh. And I see this project on Black Main Street as a pivotal point and a way to weave all these sites together. And so again, you can see we have the North Carolina Freedom Park that'll be completed by 2022. Dr. Pope's house is still on Wilmington Street. We have Shaw University, as well as Shavers Park, who just went under some major renovations and is looking beautiful. And so I want to use this project as a catalyst to get more people downtown and interested in this Black history that exists here, as well as try to help with the South Park Heritage Walk and get that project funded and installed. Next slide. So here's some opportunities. Again, I would think this is a perfect project to, again, add to the list of current projects that are happening downtown. I also see this as an opportunity for a Black-led tourism group. There's this huge movement in tourism and hospitality to make sure that Black communities are benefiting from the history that they own. And so we would definitely try to find a way to find a group that would be interested in hosting regular walking tours and keep the history alive. Again, another opportunity is providing visitors with a new way to experience local history. A lot of times, you know, we have historic plaques. We have our amazing museums downtown. But again, with the pandemic, there's been a shift to bring things more outside. And I see this as a perfect time to bring this history outside and make sure that people have access to it. We also want to use this placekeeping project as a way to attract new and existing Black-owned businesses to downtown Raleigh, and not just East Hargett Street, but all throughout. Downtown Raleigh Alliance, one of our main goals is to attract and retain diverse businesses. And so I see this as a project that could help attract folks. Again, and I want this to serve as a catalyst for the South Park Heritage Walk to be hopefully funded and installed in the future. And then the final opportunity is a way to shine some light on the City of Raleigh's Appearance Commission and let folks know this is some of the things that this project is one that you funded, and we've created an opportunity for you all to have some PR behind it, whether that's on a First Friday or, we can set up anything to make sure that you are being acknowledged for your support of the project. But I think this would be a great way to even get your name out there more often. But that completes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank
And
you
if you
so
don't mind, I'll
much.
just jump in.
Yeah, please.
First off, David, fantastic presentation, great proposals, great ideas, and really appreciate you putting the time into this and coming to us with it. I do have a couple questions. First would be, have you looked at what the cost would be behind each of these? I'm figuring that there's different levels of what you can do, and just trying to figure out like what impact our funding could be or could do as far as the various things that are part of each of these proposals.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I've definitely spent more time with proposal number 1 in terms of determining what the costs are going to be there. We definitely want to set aside some funds for the live performances. So that would be around, $1,500 to $2,000. And then the rest going towards the mural. Besides even the artwork, there's going to require a lift to install that piece if it does go on the bus station, the materials, all of that. So I envision about a $5,000 to $7,000 mural for this project, as well as, again, that $2,000 earmarked for live performances, and then the rest would go towards potentially some administrative costs, like especially if we partner with Black on Black Project, who hires local artists, and they would need to be compensated for their time as well. So that would definitely fit into the $10,000 potential project budget. But for the longer term projects, that's definitely going to require a little bit more time to get all those costs identified.
Sure, got it. That's good. And then from your perspective, which one of those proposals do you think would have more impact?
Great question again. Honestly, I love both. And, it's kind of a unique opportunity that it could be either funded now or later. I definitely would love to see the photography exhibit or some type of sculpture on Black Main Street. I think that is what is kind of missing from downtown. We do have a lot of murals, and we want those murals, but I think it's also important to have a variety of public artworks in our urban core. And right now, we don't have very much related to photography, and there are sculptures downtown, but not many.
Gotcha. Well, thanks again for this presentation. Really great stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, David. Great presentation. I'll echo already what's been said, but I did want to ask, have you guys, I saw on your list of potential partners, are you partnered at all with the Triangle DEI Alliance or Better Wake?
No, I have not been introduced to those groups, but I would certainly welcome it. And anyone that can help with this project and take it to another level and make sure that it's actually engaging folks, I am there for it.
Awesome. Well, I'll definitely try and make some introductions. The Triangle DEI Alliance and Better Wake are both embedded with the Raleigh Chamber, so they are would be excellent partners for you. And this subject is near and dear to my heart, so absolutely, I think it's a great idea and would love to also help if there's anything that I could do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll add a couple comments. I think one, great presentation, and two, certainly agree with kind of the priorities. But I want to push forward the idea of word art because to many degrees, it's the lowest cost and potentially the highest engagement initially. Has the ability to change out throughout the city and multiple locations. So you get engagement, and then you get the idea of change and discovery. And I think there's something really powerful about that. And I think people underestimate the impact of the everyday of words, meaning that something as simple as positivity or something that reflects has a huge impact on the way people start and end their day. So we find these points where there's a lot of traffic, where starting and ending their days. I think that's a huge opportunity.
And just to add on to Chad's comment, I mean, David, is it one or the other, or could it be something like, pushing for this word art for phase one and then still thinking about, creating some sort of very meaningful sculpture for the community, as part of next fiscal year?
That's a great question. There's definitely a possibility for that. It just depends on cost, really. I would hate to do any kind of sculpture that does not take it up a notch and does not, get enough funding behind it to really make a splash. But there could also be an opportunity to find additional funds through some other sources to take that sculpture to another level. But yeah, certainly we could definitely look into what this word art looks like. I kind of took some inspiration from the North Carolina Freedom Park. Like when you enter the park, you're going to see quotes from famous Black North Carolinians. And I thought the same about Mr. Leitner and how he talked about he's really the forefather of Black Main Street and built 3 to 4 of the buildings that were there. And so we could easily take a quote from him. Or I think about Molly Houston Lee, who founded Richard B. Harrison Library that's now on New Bern Avenue, but it was founded in the dental building on the corner of Blunt and East Hargett Street. So I definitely think there's a possibility to do multiple. I think it just depends on the scale. But we certainly, if that is the wishes of the commission, we could definitely look into that and see what we can get done with word art first and then come back and do a sculpture.
And I'm not necessarily committed to, the sculpture idea. I think that the committee struggles to some degree just with some of our limitations on really place keeping and showcasing, preserving history and what is special about the place now, just because we're always looking at new development, right?
Yeah.
Because that's our role as a commission. So I really like the idea of being able to help in kind of preserving or showcasing parts of how the city was built, because I know it's very important to a lot of us, and we just kind of miss out on that opportunity as a commission.
Yes. I think it's super interesting too, because I think it also kind of tells a story about how Raleigh developed. I mean, at one point, East Hargett Street was like, the cutoff for downtown, and we see how it's expanded and grown today. And I think it's important that we talk about these sites in these neighborhoods that were there before and also being impacted today by downtown's growth, and making sure, again, that we keep those memories alive, because there's a lot of elders out there that are passing away, and with them, a lot of knowledge is going. And so we need to capture that and make sure that as folks move into downtown and invest into downtown, that they know that this history was there before them and that it should be acknowledged and respected.
Any other thoughts from the commission?
This is Corey. I've been having problems with my microphone today, so it's going in and out, so I'll give it a try. I also appreciate, I think this is a great presentation. This is very exciting. And I think I guess one of my questions was, if we did some kind of a sculpture, do we have a place where that would be? But, I agree that, if you're going to do something, you need to do it right, and you need to not worry about the money, and, you need to spend the money. So I want to make sure that we do something is impactful. and positive. And I like what Chad had to say, because I think that is you get a lot for a little, but we could be a leader in Raleigh. You know, we tend to, a lot of people say we kind of follow behind, but I think this is an opportunity to be a leader and say, hey, Raleigh is changing, and we're positive, and we're going to come out stronger. And this is a good way to do that with some kind of word art. I kind of like that idea of, the first thing you see when you come into work in the morning and the last thing you see when you go home is something positive. So that's all I had to say about that.
I guess I would add to go big. Think big with this. I would hate to dilute the funding with a bunch of smaller things that don't have the same kind of impact that one or a couple really good big projects that are done well could have. So this is exciting. I'm totally behind this.
Yeah, thanks, David. The go big idea, and I love the idea of being able to cycle something through, which is, giving people ownership over moments, and then that in itself is engaging. So if there's a way to do word art or murals or whatever, where you're able to do something repetitive throughout the landscape, or cycle through in the same place, I think that can be really powerful. The only thing I thought was about is that backside of M&F Bank is gets so few eyes, but I know that they're going to redo, and we all know that they're going to redo the building next door, so maybe we would get more eyes later. I don't know if it would make it through that alley renovation, but the bus station seems like a great place.
Yeah, I think something I said that was really important is go big. And there's always this moment where all right, everyone's all about going big, but what is the moment that leads up to the big moment? And there's this way that we build a crescendo. And the first part of this is about setting the stage, whether it's word art or whatever it becomes, and builds up to this moment to where we do go big. And again, money is not the issue. We'll find the money, but doing so in a way that there is a storyline and a choreography so that we make the most impact, and we do so in a way that is impactful across a diversity of people, a diversity of geographies, or whatever magnet moment we create. Again, I think we have to think holistically about this. Otherwise, we'll miss a huge opportunity.
I'm gonna jump in real fast. David is my coworker. He's fantastic. I have 10,000% confidence in him to fully execute on this and make it absolutely wonderful. I'll be choosing myself in the event that we're voting on this. But please, if you hate it, please say so. It sounds like you guys really like it, but on my account, please don't hold back. And really appreciate y'all taking consideration of this.
Candace or Carter, just for my benefit, because I haven't been part of this legacy project before, what happens kind of from the point where we approve something on until it gets executed? Are we, do we have committees? Are we involved? Or is it that we're just approving something and letting a group that David creates really run with the idea?
Well, I think you have some different options. I think one, in the short term, if you wanted to do something with this, and I guess dedicate or encumber the funds by June 30th of this year, which is later this month, you have money in your current fiscal year budget to use. I mean, if it doesn't get used, it goes back into the general fund. But then you also have the option, a longer term option with funding next year. We get that as a commission, get that same kind of funding, but you've also got some money that was built up in the Sir Walter Raleigh account that had been accumulated when the city switched it from one type of account to the general fund account. It kind of got accumulated and put in there. So The idea was that money would be used to fund the Sir Walter Raleigh Awards event this year. And I think the amount that's in there that you can pay for that plus do something else. So you probably have a bigger kitty for next year's fiscal year, which would end June 30th of 2022. So you have a little more time to kind of, decide what you want to do with that additional money. And that could be dedicating it all to this effort, or if you want to do some other things as well. I think so there's two questions. One, do you want to do something very quickly before June 30th? And then two, on the longer term, do you want to look at this and maybe flesh this out some more with some folks on a committee to kind of finalize that more or get into more detail? So two things. One, is there something that you can do quickly? And then two, on the longer term, with a little more time, a little more funding, what do you want to do? And that could involve probably a committee or some more folks that want to get involved. Hopefully I made that a little more clear.
So is it is expenditure or the allocation?
We would need, I think, and we've done this in the past where it's kind of butted up to the deadline that we need to have something kind of ready-made, ready to go. So if we've got an artist and we've got a spot and kind of a plan for it, we can put that money into the account. And I'm working kind of with our administrative folks to make sure we can do this for the DRA and do that pretty quickly. If you want to see something more concrete, we can probably wait till the next meeting to kind of vote on something if you'd like. And then again, if you want to look at long term, you could probably put a committee together and have a little more detailed discussions and kind of time to work on something else with something bigger, I guess you could say. So we wouldn't need to have the project done by June 30th. We would need to have the project ready to receive funds, I guess you could say, encumber it. Have an entity where we can actually transfer the funds or send the money to for the project.
I mean, speaking up, my vote would be let's go ahead and catalyze this and build that momentum and to encumber the funds. And we may not know exactly what they're doing. And the second thing would be I don't think we need a committee to come up with the idea. I think we need a committee to really be the cheerleading squad to an amazing empowered people. We need to empower the community to be the artist and to be the choreographers of all this, and then hopefully get feedback as needed, is my opinion. Feel free to disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we should definitely not let money sit on the table if we have to use something by the end of June, even if we don't know exactly what the project is. I guess one question I have is, the idea of going big, does the DRA need more help from us, finding funds, or like Chad said, reaching out, being cheerleaders for something that is big?
I think we need to be our job is to create positive change and momentum, and we do so immediately with this. And then our second task is to be that, again, to continue to catalyze this, leverage partnerships, leverage relationships, and then find out, or better yet, understand what is going big. And then once we know what going big really means, or at least have a better understanding of it, then we can really build a case story around that and know what we need to do to make it a reality.
I could not agree more. And, I think the second part of that question was, what do we do as a committee? And I think in the past, just so some of the people on the commission weren't here, we've pretty much designated those funds and let those groups do what they do. That's what they do best. We kind of help cheer them on, and we help give them the funds, but they know how to allocate it the best, and we don't want to tie their hands by telling them what they do and do not need to do with that money, right? But I think it's good to kind of check in and know what they're doing, but I think cheering them on and helping any way we can is
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks.
And Carter, I guess another question, and maybe I missed this, was so like if we give money by the end of June that we have remaining for this year, can we go ahead and make a commitment to them for the next fiscal year that we will, support a project, or is that getting ahead of ourselves?
Well, I think you could do that. You could make a vote on, distributing funds for something before June 30th. And then if you wanted to make a commitment to that, that's fine. I'm not sure if you need to vote to make that commitment. But I think if you wanted to kind of put something behind it and you wanted to have a few folks work on it, if Corey wanted to put together a committee and specifically to work on that, you could. I mean, that might be your commitment, but I'm not sure if you need to vote to say there's a commitment to doing that.
I agree. The initial commitment is here now financial resources, and then the idea that you've got a group of people that will back you and support you. And then I think once we understand what that next chapter is, we can not only hopefully support financially, but we can support a relationship. And again, not to overuse the word catalyze, but really be that support group that really helps us become a reality.
So do people feel comfortable voting tonight, or do we think we need more of the commission? I know we have a pretty limited number tonight.
I personally am comfortable voting tonight.
I'm comfortable voting.
I mean, at least for this fiscal year money, right?
Yeah.
I'm comfortable voting for tonight for this fiscal year as well.
I don't know that we would have more if we waited to the next meeting.
Okay, good point. During the summer. So does somebody want to make a motion?
And I suggest you might want to say maybe up to a certain amount of money to contribute to the effort. Just I think to have some sort of cap on it, or I mean, we don't know exactly what it's going to cost, but you might want to kind of put a limit.
And Carter, remind me, what is that limit? What is the upper?
Yeah.
Right now, there's $10,000 left in the budget. A portion of, and just to kind of give you a little background, when we came up on this, then the last fiscal year, some of the money from the 2020 fiscal year budget was given to the St. Agnes project, and then they used some of the money from what we're in now. So some of that went to, some of it was paid out of this fiscal year, but that's what's remaining for basically having it all. So.
And to be clear, that 10,000 is what would go away if we didn't use it. Is that right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, thanks, Adam. Ask the same question. The second side of that is how we allocate it. Are we able to allocate it to the organization and encumber it, to your point, but we don't necessarily have to A, spend it, or B, be able to have what that deliverable is to do that?
Being based on what we've done in the past, that's my understanding. Well, we didn't know exactly what the St. Agnes project was going to be, but the commission decided to spend that money. And I think the year before when we did the project in the Greenway, I think it was very similar that the commission decided to do it, and we worked out the details, but it was we didn't end up spending all the money for that.
Well, I think we have a duty to stewardship on two things. One, we have a stewardship of resources that we're entrusted to manage for the positive and betterment of Raleigh. And two, we've identified something that we feel is something to invest in. And so it has my full support to invest. whatever that amount is, up to the full $10,000, provided that we can see positive impact and actionable over the next. I think maybe what it's less about the dollar amount, and that maybe we put some time limits on how we see that those dollars really impacting the city.
We have one more meeting before June 30th, I assume.
Yes, one more meeting on the 17th.
Like most folks are interested in moving forward with this. I wonder if there's a way we can say, yeah, let's move forward with it. We know we have $10,000. Can we see something, can we keep this conversation into the next meeting, knowing that we want to support it, but want to, do more, something like that?
Yeah, I think that's a great approach, Adam. I would love to see, a little bit more of a fleshing out of ideas coming from David. A commission meeting, then why not give him the opportunity to. They don't have to be fully fleshed out, of course, but give us a better idea of what we're paying for, and that we.
Commissioner Gilmore, your sound is spotty right now. Are other people getting
Okay.
that? Sometimes turning the video off can help you get a better sound fidelity.
So then I feel like if we're going to leave it open to talk more about it, would there be a vote tonight? I mean, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it doesn't sound like we need one for tonight, but maybe it's on the 17th, with David knowing that he has our commitment to help them fund something that he brings to us on the 17th.
Senior President, I mean, do you expect additional in 2 weeks from now on, some ideas or a plan?
Was that a question for me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, it was kind of going in and out, but I definitely can prepare some more, a more detailed plan by the 17th, and identify some of those costs and like how those funds would be spent. I'm kind of used to that going through grants in the past, so definitely can work on that. And 2 weeks is enough time to turn around a couple of those ideas with a budget in mind for each.
And David, we have a lot of great ideas that we pulled from other projects about everything from word art to broader things. So feel free to reach out to any of us, and me in particular, if we can help. I think the takeaway from this is you have our full commitment to find a way to be part of the solution. And it's we're at a great point, right? We may not know what that solution is yet, but we're committed to partner with you. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So Carter, does that work that he can get back on the schedule for next meeting?
Definitely. And just to let you know, there's no administrative alternates on the agenda. We do right now have the Western Boulevard BRT project coming to you to look at, but we could line this up before that at the meeting, and then hopefully maybe not a long discussion, but if you have something to look at, those will be the only 2 items on the agenda.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it's more, maybe we won't have more people next time, but maybe different commissioners, and it just increases the excitement from the commission for other people to hear about it. Okay.
Carter, can you say again? So we've got $10,000 left in this fiscal year, which ends at the end of June, and then
Yes.
July 1 it re-ups the kitty. And so, if this group was inclined to support this effort, again with next year's money, how much is available then?
The standard, which you get typically every year, is $10,000, and we do have some additional funding. That was that buildup of the Sir Walter Raleigh funds from years past. So there is some money in that as well. I think we had tried to figure it, if we could fully fund the Sir Walter Raleigh Awards, you'd have another, I think, 25, maybe 30,000 in addition to your 10,000. So that's kind of what you're looking at. So you've got significantly more money next year, next fiscal year, but then you have some more time to work on it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's very exciting. Other business. Oh, no, sorry. Sir Walter Raleigh Awards, right, Carter?
Yeah, I don't really have much on that. I think we're looking to have the call go out probably July 1st, probably for 6 weeks or so. And then, we have the jury meet. But we're going to have some support from our communications folks in our department and actually planning the event. And if, COVID goes the way it is, hopefully we'll be having a in-person event in the fall, but we are going to plan for contingency of a virtual event as well. So I don't have much more of an update, but I will probably send something out to maybe get together a committee on that, and especially finding people that want to be jurors and probably the jury chair.
And I know I sound like a broken record, but if you have not served on the jury or the Sir Walter Raleigh Awards, it is a really great experience. They always pull in great people to serve. And so, I just think I've enjoyed it every time I'm served on that jury. And you really learn a lot more about, the reasoning behind a lot of the designs and the stories of the developments. So I would urge you, if you are interested, it is a really nice afternoon to spend reviewing all the projects. Okay, other business. Anything?
You have the minutes from the May 6th meeting.
Yep. Has everyone had a chance to review the May 6th minutes?
Yes.
I actually did it this time just because I was nervous about approving it. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Minutes are approved. Anything else, Carter, that we need to go over?
Not that I know of, unless Catherine has a attorney's report.
No, nothing new. Nothing for me to report.
Great. So a motion to adjourn? Motion.
Candace, excellent job tonight. Job.
Y'all made it easy this time. It was like no controversial discussions.
Way to go. You got a new job.
Perfect. I don't think so.
Good job. Good job.
Thanks.
I motion
Well,
to adjourn.
do we have to
Second
second
if you need
that?
one. All right.
Carter, do we have to second and raise our hands for the adjournment?
I don't think we have in the past.
No,
Catherine.
I love the formality. You're like, I'm closing this out.
Full
Like-
discretion to say adjourned whenever you're ready.
Okay.
You're like-
Adjourned.
My first time, I'm going out formal and going out hot. Like, I'm out. All right, we'll see you.
Oh, thanks, everybody.
All
right.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.